We don't need more dick.
We
Said no one ever on this podcast.
We always want more dick. Hello and welcome to Incomplete Geeks, a gay geek podcast. I'm your host, John. That is your host, Nick. This is episode number 30, where we are talking about a recent DC announcement, and we've got plenty of D, not enough C. So we're going to see what we can do to break this down and share our knowledge or lack thereof with all of you listeners.
What does the C stand for?
Nothing. It says
cancer? That's horrible.
Well, that's if you're like... No, only in certain contexts is C set.
Okay.
We're talking about a recent DC announcement.
Let's talk about DC.
Let's talk about...
We feel like we did that last time. Did we say let's talk about... Oh no, we just said DC are so gay. Why don't we just say let's talk about DC?
Are you talking about the title
Get
or just in general?
D.
Let's get some D. C. Well, you mean the title of the last time we talked about DC was just DC is so gay? Which I think it has to.
Maybe we did say... Oh, no, I said Martian Manhunter. I thought that was hilarious.
It was hilarious. I just didn't think it was funny.
Yeah, well, okay. So, we're going to talk about James Gunn's recent 6-minute TikTok or whatever announcement about, and his subsequent comments and people's opinions about the upcoming slate for DC Cinematic Universe, which is not called that anymore.
No, that's literally one of my big notes with like circles on it. It's why he's not calling it DCEU, as far as I can tell, unless he's speaking really fast. But he's calling it DCU, or it's just DCU.
Yeah, I think because he wants to probably wants to differentiate it from the Snyderverse and everything like that,
right?
But also because he's saying he wants to integrate all the different parts, so like the video games, the comic books, the animated shows, TV shows and films.
I don't remember him mentioning comic books, but definitely
maybe I made that up.
Films and video games, interestingly enough. I don't know.
We'll see what happens. I have been on an emotional roller coaster with this whole DC thing from day one, and from the announcement that James Gunn was taking over, and I'm like, I don't have faith in this man to fix all the problems that have been with this chaotic cinematic universe, to then seeing his announcement and all the projects that he wants to do. And I'm like, ooh,
yeah, this
is interesting.
Yeah.
To then reading more about it and listening to like proper DC fans talk about their opinions and stuff. And now I think I'm back to like, I don't think he can save it. I don't think he can save
really?
it.
Okay.
No, my opinion on it is like, Guardians of the Galaxy was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
But do we need an entire universe of that? Because Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, I enjoyed Peacemaker, didn't like Suicide Squad. It's all the same.
Did he do the Suicide Squad as well? Was that James Gunn?
Suicide Squad.
That was James Gunn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all kind of the same. It's not like Feige, where he has the freedom to be like, ooh, let's do this. He's a writer-director, and he has a very, very specific way of writing and way of directing. You can't put that on everything. So I'm like, I don't trust this guy. I don't think it's going to be enough. But maybe you think different. If you do, call in now.
Call in now. The number is at the bottom of your screen. No, it's not. Don't call in. We should.
There's no screen.
And there's no screen.
So.
No, I agree. I mean, I think that when James Gunn was brought in to do Guardians of the Galaxy, it was a surprising revelation of his quality as a storyteller, and I think he pulled it off really well.
Excellent.
And I think that Guardians of the Galaxy 2, even though it was less lauded, I still think it was a good film. Mm-hmm. We'll see what number 3 set has to do with it, but he's proven himself over and over and over again. So we are trusting him. You know, some of us with like crossed fingers, please don't fuck this up, James Gunn. For this DC universe.
He's proven himself as a writer and a director,
so
not as a creative, whatever, executive. What is his title? What's he called?
I don't even know. But this is what I was about to say, is that if you put him in charge of everything, he doesn't prove himself in that way. It's kind of like saying to Joss Whedon, "Oh, you've done the Avengers good. Please take control of the whole Marvel universe."
That's exactly the example I was going to make. You know, we liked Avengers and Avengers. Well, we loved Avengers.
We like the Avengers, the first one. I mean, we
yeah,
love the Avengers, the first one.
But he has a very, a very specific style of writing and
Yes.
directing. You can't apply that to everything.
Yes. Imagine if everything in the MCU was like that. Imagine if, they did Hawkeye with, well, kind of.
That's not a good example.
Not a good example.
Yeah, WandaVision.
Imagine if there's WandaVision and it was all like quippy, like, "Hey, chaos magic. Whoops, oopsie." I mean.
So I have my opinions as an outsider.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a load of people with more like critique opinions about how well they're going to adapt some of these storylines and use some of these characters on a wider scale. I don't think he has the, let's say, reverence and understanding of these characters that a lot of fans really want them to. Yeah, just based on some stuff that I've seen online.
Okay, tell me about that, because
what he's said about it. Crap, I'm gonna have to try and remember it.
Well, give me a brief
remember when I get to it to
see
if I can pull apart stuff. What do we want to do? Do we want to go through all of it?
Let me make a comment on what you just said as well, because I kind of had a similar thought. When I watched this 6-minute clip on TikTok, I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then I was like, don't know who that is. Don't know who that is. Don't know who they are. No idea who that is. And so I'm wondering if he's sort of one of the groups he was talking about. I think it was when he was talking about the Authority. He was like, "This is a pet project of mine," or what did he say? Passion project. And he's like, I really like his voice just got bigger. And he was like, "Oh, this is going to be so exciting." And I was like, I have no idea who these are. Is he going to pull the same thing off
as he did with Guardians?
As he did with the Guardians, because the Guardians were not big until he came along and did all this stuff.
No.
So
I will say that that's what was giving me hope for this plan, was that he wasn't using. The best thing about DC is that all of their heroes are so iconic, which is why their video games and why their cartoons work so well. But I think that's also their downfall for things like films and TV shows, because it's just a bit like, how many times can we see Batman? How many times can we see Superman? So the fact that they're exploring these different titles and everything, I think that's cool.
It's
the kind of critique that I've seen online is like, how are you going to do this when you can't even get Superman right?
Yeah.
Which I think is fair. It's like, you're spending all this time to develop 12 to 15 whatever projects. Wonder Woman, maybe? Could we have a Wonder? These are really big, important characters.
Yeah,
and you're doing, you're not focusing on what's really, really important to DC. You're focusing on the Authority and Swamp Thing and that sort of stuff. So
Booster Gold. Let's go through.
Booster Gold is the only one I have no problem with. I'm
really?
100% on board with Booster Gold. That is pure perfect for James Gunn. I think that is fine. Okay. Everything else, I think, is like...
Well, he's one of them when I was like, I have no idea who that is.
Exactly.
So let's go through this. Let's go through his announcement, like, little by little. But
okay. Well, first of all, I don't know if this was your point as well. We still have to suffer through some stuff that has been produced or in production or about to come out, which you can see he's like... This is this, and wow, that's great.
And it's going to be good, because it's
my god,
another one.
I still cannot believe they're going ahead with a Flash movie.
With who?
I don't know, but it's supposed to come out this summer, so it's going to be Ezra.
This summer?
That's 2023.
What I got.
Yeah, June 16th, 2023. According to IGN.com.
Well, it's very possible that he filmed all of his scenes before he went crazy.
Yeah, but are you going to watch it?
No.
It's convicted, like, child kidnapping, molesting piece of greasy head shit. You're going to watch him be the most...
Enterer.
Oh my god. How could they keep going with this?
No.
How can they spend their marketing money on, like... have him on the red carpet promoting their films? I don't get it.
No, I don't know.
Draw a line under this garbage. They've cancelled so many things. Why don't they just cancel all of this?
why don't they do a thing like they did with Christopher Plummer replacing Kevin Spacey in that one film? And they just redid all of his scenes. And then Christopher Plummer got an Oscar nomination for it.
Which one was that?
It was called... It's called something like All the King's Horses and All the King's Men. Or All the King's... I don't know. Something... Oh, I don't remember now.
All the King's Men sounds familiar.
Who cares? But like basically, he was the only person nominated for that film. It was his role. He basically came in and filmed all of his scenes. I think they got other actors in as well, but like they just sort of inserted his scenes into it. I haven't even seen the film, but
or like Tig Notaro filming filming all the helic. I told you that. Yeah,
was he okay? Yeah.
On the Buffy scene. Have Tig Notaro just be the Flash. I think that'd be great. I'm campaigning for more.
Please, I will be the first signatory on that petition.
I can't do a good Tig Notaro. I can't do any impressions, but I'd love to see her being the
Tig
Flash.
Notaro be the Flash this year.
Yeah, just to get that. So that's my first kind of what the fuck they have to get through. We've got to get through Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me? The Flash, Blue Beetle, which is a shame because Blue Beetle's a really good character, and I think really good and important because it's really good representation, and it could be any kind of thing. It's a really bizarre, fun Iron Man thing that they could do, but it's already finished, so
they might as
God knows what it's going to be.
They're working. It's in post right now.
Yeah,
to use an actor term, it's like it's in post. They're doing the CGI now. It's all been done.
Oh yeah, it's all filmed, and then an Aquaman.
I love how James Gunn was like, we've got this film, Shazam 2, and he's really doing this, and Flash, we're going to be the reset of the DCU. And we have Aquaman 2.
And then we got Aquaman.
And then we're going to move on. And I put a big line under my nose, like, next.
Which is weird, because Aquaman's the only film that made money.
Yeah.
It made a shit ton of money.
Well, the first Wonder Woman did as well, I think.
Not as much as Aquaman.
Really? Okay,
Don't think so. No, it made a butt ton of money, which is bizarre, because it was stupid. But he was hot as fuck. So,
well, it goes back to storytelling, because I think that Aquaman, and I've not seen all the ones that were reviewed bad, but I heard a lot of reviews about how it just didn't work as a story. And Aquaman, as dumb as you might think it is, I think it still works as a story. It has a theme. It has a character that has ambitions and goals and things that are in the way. And it's like it's just it's stupid and whatever, but it was dumb and enjoyable. It had pretty fish in it as well.
Huh?
It had pretty fish in it. The colors and the pretty fish.
I mean, it also had a pretty man in it who was topless and wet.
And a pretty man, yeah, of course. Focus, John, focus.
Thank you.
So wet
for most of it. So we got to get through all that first.
Yeah. And that's all going to come in the next 2 years, because then he's got a show, and then the Superman one, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but the Superman is going to be 2025 summer.
Yeah, I've got my list is from IGN, so I don't know if they're pretty good, but I don't know if I just wanted a list of dates. All of those are this year. Aquaman is Christmas Day this year. And then
I looked at my calendar just then. I was like, what day is it?
What day is it? And then a Joker film? Is there another Joker film?
Not that Joker. I think there's another Todd Phillips Joker film. I think they were talking about.
Well, because that's outside of canon, isn't it?
That's, what do you call it? Extended? No, Extraverse or something like that. What did he call it?
They're not going to try and make that match up. They're just going to leave that where it is. Same as Teen Titans Go. Just leave them in the bonkers.
Exactly. That's another one. Let's start with that. The very beginning bit before we talk about anything, because I've got 2 questions.
Go.
So in the beginning, he said the extra universe, whatever, it's going to be clearly demarcated as like not part of this new thing he's going to be, this continuous universe. But he also said, as many of you know, the DC EU, I don't think he ever said EU, the DC universe has been disconnected. Mm-hmm. What does he mean by disconnected? Like film TV, just like different?
Well,
I mean, it's big shit. I don't think that's what he means.
The TV shows have been going for 10 fucking years or whatever. So,
like the Arrowverse and whatever else you mean.
And they made fuck tons of money in Teen Titans and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's changed the characters, it's changed their backgrounds and all that stuff. So
that's what he means.
The fact that there's a Flash TV show that's been going on for fucking ages, and now a Flash movie which is coming out.
Okay.
overlapping. So yeah, maybe that, I
And a
guess.
Supergirl TV show or whatever else.
Oh yeah, I forgot about her.
Okay, so I didn't. That makes more sense because basically there has been so many different sort of storylines, and he wants to. This, to use a Marvel term, there's been a lot of timelines, and we need to trim some of them.
That's probably more of a DC thing. Timelines.
That was from the Loki TV show. They
Yeah. But
anyway.
it's been DC for ages. Also, oh god, brain's gone. Stop. Reboot. That's kind of what they do, as you may recall from our episode with Dale. How it's like
Dale.
What did I say?
Dale. Sounded like you said Dale. I'll leave it in. It's fine. He's not going to listen to it anyway.
As you may listen, because we got everything wrong. This is going to infuriate him. No.
Yeah.
Do not let him listen.
I can't force him not to listen.
As you remember, yeah, so, they have a tendency to stop, reboot it, DC 52. They've done it like 3 times. I can't remember what their names are. So
okay.
If this all goes, that's one thing they can do. And if this all goes tits up, they'll just do it again. And it's kind of on brand for their comics to just be like, reboot it all.
Yeah.
So that kind of matches.
It matches. I mean, that's kind of what they're doing now, and we'll see if James Gunn is going to work it into the storyline of the Flash movie. If it indeed comes out this year, I think they're going to reset it in the very first 5 minutes, and Ezra Miller is going to be like, "Oh, I need to reset the universe," and it resets, and it's somebody else as the Flash. Somebody else is Barry Allen. That would work. I'd watch that.
Yeah, I would. I still wouldn't, but I will watch people react to it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I'll watch the reviews. That's how I get my Justice League knowledge. So my other question from the beginning is, he says, this is what Peter in my job. Who's Peter? Peter in my jobs is going to be to get this back on track.
Safran.
Who?
Co-CEOs of DC Studios.
Peter Safran. Anyway.
Yeah, no fucking clue. I don't care.
So do you have James Gunn's title there then?
Co-CEO of DC Studios.
DC Studios.
Like Marvel Studios. Yes,
this is one of my overarching comments about this clip, is that they're just trying to be more like MCU. Mm-hmm. Be more MCU. Be more Marvel.
Which is fair. Marvel copied DC for like 50 years before the films come out. So
Marvel finally got it back. Like, oh boy, we got this right. MCU to DCU. He's got an 8 to 10 year plan, he said. So I feel like that's very similar to every year we have these announcements at.
I give it 2. We'll see.
2 years.
2 years is his plan, and if it's shit, it'll just stop.
Well, I mean, whatever happens, it's going to change from what his plan is, because that's the nature of plans. MCU plans change. Maybe,
but it's also a lot of money and a lot of people involved. They can't just be like, let's do a new film.
And a lot of people who are passionate about the DC universe and these characters, like you said before, the characters are so ingrained. They're basically, what's the word? Not
icons.
Icons. They're archetypes. The basic archetypes, like the Batman archetype, that's the dark and broody detective who has got no superpowers, but solves crimes, whatever, for the good of man, and then lets the baddies go. The Joker's archetype, whatever. I mean, even the Superman archetype, you see copies of it in shows like The Boys. We have like the overpowered superheroes, and everything is just a copy of the Superman archetype. I could go on, but I'm not going to, because I can't think of anything else.
So you couldn't really go on, is what you're saying?
I could go on. Okay, Aquaman is like the underwater archetype of the person who can, speak to fish, but he doesn't want to get involved.
How is that an archetype?
I don't know. I'm just looking at my list.
Fish guy.
The speedster archetype who can go really fast, but
you can't just reference The Boys, because that is a parody of these films, so that doesn't work.
Yeah, there's a speedster in The Boys as well.
Yes, because that's
there's an Aquaman speedster in The Boys as well.
That's the point. It's called they're called the Seven. It's from anyway. Anywho.
Okay, so shall we go through these individual announcements? We kind of talked about the first 4 already.
Yeah, I don't have them in any particular order because I've only got dates for a couple
Okay.
of things
I
on
put them
my
in
little
order.
list. But if you've got one, go for it.
No, just the order of what he was talking about on the actual announcement. So he talks
Well,
about.
that's interesting because he was talking about stuff that this list says we've got Aquaman in December this year, a Joker film in 2024,
Mhm.
and then Superman Legacy in 2025. That's the
And that's
first.
it.
That's the first thing that has a date.
Oh, really?
No, Creature Commandos this year is an animated series.
This year?
Possibly.
Okay. Okay, so his 8 to 10 year plan, which is where it sounds like he has more creative control. The first thing is this Creature Command, not Commando, right? Creature Command animated TV show.
Creature Commandos.
It is Commando. Okay, I wrote it right then. I thought you said Command before, but
Possibly, but no,
animated TV show. And he said that they're going to get characters in who will voice the same characters they play on live action, and they want to have characters go in and out of animation and back and forth. I don't know what I'm.
I don't. Basically, because I love DC animation.
Yeah.
Their movies and their TV shows are beyond compare brilliant. I don't want it ruined by having some average pretty face having to do the voiceover. Like with What If, some of with the MCU people doing the voiceovers, they are not good voice actors. Sebastian Stan doing the voice is so lackluster and uncharismatic. It didn't work. You need voice actors to do it properly.
Some of them can do it, but yeah, I think
yes,
Sebastian Stan is like
100%. Some would work fine, but I feel
James
like
Brolin was great. Like his voice is so iconic as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, Thanos is a lot of voiceover. Yes, but relying on, like he's so pretty and I want to like his boobs, but Henry Cavill, I don't think would be an interesting voice. I don't think that would be.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Yeah,
you don't love him for his voice.
No, that is true.
So my concern is that their cartoons are fucking brilliant, and tying them or making them too dependent on films which we know have sucked in the past could go badly. But
one thing he didn't say was which characters are going to be in there, because the graphic that he showed were completely different, weird characters I've never seen before.
You've seen Weasel.
Oh, we did.
And that guy kind of looks like Robot or whatever from Doom Patrol.
I mean, there was a split second where I thought the character on the far left was Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. But I was like, why did he? I don't think so. Maybe he's weird for him to be dressed like that if that is him. Well, the whole thing about this, the fact that he's starting with this group of characters, I've never heard of the group full stop. And so it's like,
very James Gunn.
He's just starting over with his, he wants to have his own blank slate again to start off with.
Which is probably a good place to start, because we know animation's excellent. We know he can do that, and there's no pressure because who the fuck are they? So maybe it's like, let's get an easy win. Get the people on our side with whatever the fuck this is going to be.
These characters that we are going to... I'll edit it together later and put in the names of the characters.
I mean, I'm still trying to find it, but...
You can find it, because I don't want to click anymore because it will just make noises on me.
I mean, it's weird that in all these bullshit articles, no one's listing who these characters are.
Do you think that they don't know either, or they just kind of say, "Oh yeah, Creature Commandos, yeah, that was cool. I'm really excited." Next is, and they don't actually know who these people are either.
Okay, in this case, there are 7 main Creature Commandos, including Rick Flag Sr. Oh. So Rick Flag's daddy.
Daddy Flag, yeah.
Daddy Flag. Dr. Phosphorus.
That must be the one on fire, I'm assuming.
Oh, God. Nina Mazursky.
Okay.
The Woman, as is typical. Eric Frankenstein.
Hold on. Is her name The Woman?
No. Sorry, that's just me being like...
It looks like there are 2 females on this lineup, by the way. So I was just...
Who is the other one?
The fishy-looking lady?
Oh.
With a glass bowl in her head?
I've now lost the list. Damn it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Incomplete Geeks.
We are so good at this. We just get all our information from other people.
On the day of recording, and we're just going to find it.
Eric Frankenstein, GI Robot, which that people are pretty confident is him, and Weasel. Leading this group will be the Bride of Frankenstein. So Nina Mazursky must be the mermaid thing.
The fish lady, yeah. Fishy looking.
Nina Mazursky comes to the Creature Commandos after a series of crazy experiments left her as a hybrid between a mermaid and the Gill Man. Dr. Phosphorus might be familiar name to some, as he is one of Batman's villains. Is he?
Never heard of him. I've played all the Batman video games, and
the thing is, having slagged that off, if this does well, it will be a good video game. It would work well.
Yeah.
And that's a good connection to have, because I don't know if the Marvel games do well. I suppose they do. But everyone seems to go nuts over like all the Batman-y shit and things.
Yeah,
but
we don't have time to talk about the Marvel video games. Although I will say, Midnight Suns is very fun. I've actually been playing that at the moment. Okay. It's a different kind of, it's a strategy tactical game as opposed to the Avengers, which was a sort of running around, choose a character, run around, or fly, finding things, which didn't get a lot of good review. The Spider-Man film did get good reviews.
Oh, Spider-Man kicked fucking ass, didn't it? The PS5 one. Yeah, that did really well.
The PS5 one. And then Miles Morales came out a year later and was like kind of the same thing, but still good, apparently. But I don't have a PS5. I didn't play either of those. People said it was too short. There's too many stealthy missions, whatever. I don't know.
If you'd like to talk more about Marvel vs. DC, the video games, if you'd like to be an expert guest on that particular panel, please call in now.
Yes, because we have so many expert guests.
So I'm not worried about this. I think this will be fun.
Okay.
Just to backtrack on everything I've said, slagging the guy off, it'll probably be fun.
For the people that listened to, they were so excited to listen to this episode, and they were, I can't wait till they talk about Creature Commandos. It's going to be my favorite. And they heard you slag it off. They're like, well, fuck these people. And then turned off the episode. And I were like, actually, we're looking forward to it. It'll be great.
The only people who listen to this are like your family and your friends, and then a couple of girls from work.
That is not entirely fair. True. I mean, they definitely do.
Mostly that, but
just because you don't have any friends or family.
Yes, it's true. It's absolutely painfully true.
Okay, next. Waller.
Yeah, HBO Max show, right?
Yes.
Which I think is, I was going to say, it's a secret weapon, but like Marvel's got Disney Plus, so it's the same thing. The fact that they'll be able to they have the money and they have the production people to make really good live action TV shows now.
That is true.
Now that Arrowverse hopefully will be ended and that sort of stuff. And it's like, let's pretend that didn't happen and just move everything to HBO Max, which will just be called Max, which is weird.
Really? Oh.
Because Discovery bought it, so it's just going to be called Max. Anyway.
Which is very confusing for people who grew up in the 90s, because you had HBO as the main sort of movie TV, satellite or cable TV channel. And the second one was Cinemax. And it was like, no, it's called Max.
Wasn't that porn?
You're thinking of Skinemax.
I am thinking of Skinemax.
Which was a piss take of Cinemax.
That's
Cinema
clever.
At the maximum. And then the third one was Showtime, which became more, well, anyway.
Which was Showtime. So Waller, I've got down here Waller / Peacemaker season 2.
I think James Gunn mentioned Peacemaker because
because that's his thing anyway. So I'm hoping Waller has her own show and Viola Davis gets but tons of money and just runs the whole thing. She
deserves every penny. But like James Gunn did Peacemaker's TV show?
Yeah.
Oh, because he did
all him.
Suicide Squad, of course. Haven't seen Peacemaker yet.
It's good. I would recommend it.
Okay.
It's fun.
So that's a TV show as well.
And
live action.
Hopefully a chance for Viola Davis to get all the screen time rather than being just a backup character and overshadowed by Will Smith. And a chance to kind of really show the difference between what her character is. Like, she's not just this psycho who's like, kill him, get rid of them. And more that she's a good person. She believes that what she's doing is right. She's just willing to do whatever it takes to make sure everyone's safe, that sort of thing. So getting to see some nuance to her, which of course Viola Davis is going to with the right kind of material will do great with.
With the right kind of direction, I think, as well, because she was such a different character, from what I hear, between the two Suicide Squad films, where
it was just shit.
It was just bad story, basically.
Yeah, agreed.
But what you just said, that's from your knowledge of the comics, right? Like as a character, because I didn't know anything about her until
I know from the cartoons.
She's in cartoons as well?
She was in Justice League and she was fucking brilliant. Huh. Just this very background kind of character, but it was so... Like, I mean, Justice League was just brilliant. It's very nuanced because, like, when you start seeing her, you're like, what a fucking bitch. She's a bitch. I fucking hate her. And then you kind of get to the point in, like, her final episode, you're like, oh, no, that makes sense. That's a lot of... I can get where she's coming from. Okay. She's not a bad person. She's just like, I don't trust you people. We have to make sure that we're... Like, I think she'll be... And that'll be good.
Yeah.
Just don't drag it out.
And she's in good hands with Viola Davis.
Yeah.
Like her a lot.
I don't know if James is... He can't do that. He can't write and direct that and Peacemaker and Superman and
he's too busy being CEO.
And CEO the shit out of it. So I hope whoever takes over that is good. Maybe a woman for a change. A woman director would be nice, but let's not get ahead of
we need more of them.
Okay.
So next, we've got... the first thing that he sort of was very excited about, Superman Legacy, July 2025. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be a new Superman, I'm assuming? So it's like a brand new sort of reboot. What do we know about this? Because I think the artwork that he uses is from a comic that is very different than like the Superman archetype that we know and are used to. Yes, no?
What do you... Have you ever read a Superman comic?
I have never read a comic.
Okay.
That's not entirely true, but I just said it for...
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Comedic effect. I have...
No. So I don't think I've read like a couple in the 80s or whatever, that sort of thing. I haven't. What do you think is like the defining characteristic of Superman?
So,
about his story, what is
about his story?
What is Superman's
or his purpose
story
as a character?
What is Superman's story?
He is like the last journey. He's the last Kryptonian.
No, I don't want specifics. What do you want? What's the point of Superman?
He's an alien who saves Earth and leaving buildings in a single bound, stopping bullets, whatever. He's indestructible, invincible.
But what's his character? Because I feel like I have an idea in my head of what it's important for Superman's character to be. You
mean like the goodness, the wholesomeness of it?
Okay, right?
He fights for the little guy, or he saves people. He's the hero, the archetypal hero.
So because I only know him from mainly the cartoons because they're fucking brilliant. So my kind of impression of him, and then of course the films, my impression of Superman is that he's so OP, like nothing is a challenge for him. He has all the power and all the privilege, more power than any superhero in the universe. It's kind of understood that he's the main one. So I guess his story is more about like holding back and learning control, but that's why it's always kind of, in the films, he looked kind of Jesus-like at one point. Yeah. He's a god.
Yeah, that was the point of
it's all kind of like that, which is why when people say that, oh, they should do a black Superman, I was like, cool, but Superman, for me, it looks like he has everything easy. He has all the privilege. He has all the power. Everything in the world. He should be played by a white guy because then the people react to him as like, oh, everything, that sort of stuff. There's no racism to him because he's a white guy and he's a man and he's straight and pretty and that sort of stuff. That's not accurate at all because he was written by Jewish immigrants, and his whole point is that he's struggling immigrant from the stars. That's not a message I kind of picked up on, but a lot of the comic book fans are saying that's the whole point of him. Like he's an immigrant from the stars and he's written by all these, World War II Jewish writers. That's his story. And I'm like, oh, I didn't get that from the cartoons
No,
or the film.
I never got that.
I see him as a super white, super straight, super privileged, super powerful person. So when people have a problem with one representation, the other people are going to have a problem with the other one because people are looking for, does that make sense? Am I not rambling now?
No.
People who want him to be the perfect God type character aren't going to like it if they show him more as a Jewish immigrant struggle, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's going to be...
and vice versa. If they do that, the white people aren't going to like him. Do you know what I mean? Because it seems like, does anyone know what the fucking point of Superman is anymore? He's been going around for so long.
No, and I think that's one of the good things that came out of the most recent representation is, setting aside that they killed him so quickly, is that he's, like you said, a God figure. He's there he's so invincible and indestructible. He just saves everything. And part of I don't know how clear this was in the Zack Snyder films, but how people just expect Superman to be there, the characters to solve everything. Like, we don't have to worry anymore. We've got a Superman now. And that sounds like it's a bit different, a takeaway that's different, like modernized from back then. But if you're trying to make him be an immigrant, you're going to have a hard time nowadays because immigrant means something different now. And I think if you want to talk about the difficulty that immigrants have, it's not because they're superpowered. It's just because they're different. And Superman might be different, but like you said, he's got privilege. Well, okay, he's got to hide it, but
I don't know. See, I don't.
But then is Clark Kent subjugated because he's an immigrant?
Don't know. I don't know anything about him. We're not the right people to be making these comments.
Someone's listening and is shouting at the headphone like,
"No,
you stupid
fucking idiots! Read a fucking comic book."
Yeah.
But that's the point. Like,
I don't get that from him. Is what I'm saying.
This film isn't. Sorry, is James Gunn making a film? This could be the soundbite. Is James Gunn making a film and films and TV shows for comic book fans or for the general public to make fuck tons of money? Which do you think it is?
It's a good question.
I would have thought it'd be really obvious that the answer was the second one, but okay.
Well, because you mentioned this at the beginning of our chat here, is that he doesn't have an appreciation for these characters. But I was going to say the fact that he's focusing on these sub characters, it makes me think that he does. Mm-hmm. It makes you think like, oh, he knows a lot about the Guardians of the Galaxy, so he's going to like write a story about it and make it work, and he understands the character's internal struggles, etc. Can he pull it off with another group? Like we're going to come to like the Creature Commandos, for example, or is he going to be able to pull it off with a singular character like Superman? That's what has to be seen. But
there's a couple of other instances which people, again, smarter than I, have highlighted that makes him think like he doesn't get it.
Really? Okay.
So,
and on the other hand, he does have to make a lot of money for this.
But he does have to make money. It has to be. It has to be a crowd pleaser. It has to do that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So he's writing Superman Legacy.
He said he's already.
He's writing it now. So, or whatever, working on it now. So.
We'll see.
Who the fuck is going to be Superman? I
mean, I'm free, but I need to start working out.
It's going to be a mess. I don't know.
I'm a mess. I can do that really well.
That's true. That's true.
Thanks. I appreciate your support. Next is Lanterns.
Yes.
Which is a TV show, a live action TV show that people are talking about. Oh my God, he likened it. He referenced True Detective, which sounds cool because everyone loved True Detective, the first series anyway. With multiple lanterns, detectives kind of thing, live action. We've got Hal Jordan, we've got Jon Stewart, who I don't think I've heard of.
Jon Stewart is more important than Hal Jordan.
Really? Well, okay.
he's more important. Because Ryan Reynolds was Hal Jordan. So let's move away. Let's move away from that.
Everyone hates that one.
Jon Stewart was in the cartoons. He is black.
Mm-hmm.
All the other three Lanterns are all straight white dudes. I feel like Jon Stewart is a really established character. He's not a new person. he's established as a Green Lantern. I think that's way more interesting than cocky pilot gets superpower, white pilot gets superpowers and girlfriend in one day. Like, not interesting.
And also, we've seen that story many times before.
Yeah. So,
who was the one that was retconned to be gay? That was a Green Lantern. It was Scott somebody.
That was Green. That was the Justice League of America.
Scott Allen.
Previous. I don't remember his name, but that was also in an alternate universe as well.
Oh, okay. It was a quiz question, and I was like, which
Alan Scott.
Alan Scott. That sounds familiar.
Again, if we've got this wrong, people are like, no, it's not.
You idiot! It's not.
Could you not Google anything?
Well, we don't know how much detail we're going to talk about. Actually, it wasn't. It was called. It's something Scott.
Actually, no, Alan Scott of New Earth.
Okay, so it was Alan Scott.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, good. So you seem to know about Jon Stewart, even if only from the
cartoons and some of the comics as well.
Who would you like to see play Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan?
I just don't want famous people to do it.
Don't want famous people?
No, I just want good people to do it.
I'm free for that one as well, James Gunn. Please call me.
You can't be Jon Stewart.
No, I don't want to be Jon Stewart.
No. Be a good Kyle Rayner, though.
What?
You'd be a good Kyle Rayner, I think.
Who's that?
He's one of the other Lanterns.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes, I'm aware. I'll start researching now.
Or Guy Gardner, but you're not ginger enough. I can be Guy Gardner. He's an asshole. Everybody hates Guy Gardner.
You're an asshole too. So that works.
Yay! I don't know how I feel about that. The fact he's likening it to True Detective, they're like, I don't think that's a.
He just. Well, I don't know about the story of the Lanterns, so I don't know.
They're a massive spacefaring police force, that sort of thing.
So they are kind of police forcing.
But
are they going to solve crimes? Are they going to, is there going to be like a Law and Order? There are two branches of Green Lanterns. No, Law and Order DCU. Law and Order DCU. That's what we need. The Lanterns.
We don't.
There are two branches of the crime justice system: the Lanterns and the Creature Commandos.
I don't know if I have the faith in them for this.
Faith in them? Who is them?
DC to make a live action version of this. I don't know if it'll work. Because they're too spacefaring and too widespread, at least the way I know them. Just to have like two of them just on Earth trying to solve a bank. I'm like, this, it feels too small for me. But maybe some people like it.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Unless they use that in the show, like, we're our whole comic book line is about, these across the universe, different species of lanterns, and here we are stuck on Earth solving the bank robbery.
That'll be shit if they do that. I would hate if they.
And then they have to learn. They have to learn about the value of humanity and make sure everybody is happy regardless. And that's where their true value lies.
No thanks.
The real lanterns were the friends we made along the way.
Okay, well, let's move on.
Moving on. Next is the Authority, which is not going to work if you keep laughing.
No, I will fully admit that I thought the Authority was one thing, but I didn't do my research, so I'm going to let John talk for a sec.
Well, all I was going to say...
Yeah.
The Authority is the one where he was like... super excited about like this group of superheroes is going to be great. They think Earth has gone wrong and they need to fix it or whatever. The most interesting thing that he said about this group is that they're going to be, quote, interacting with the other primary superheroes. So
right.
I said, my question is, who are the other superheroes that have survived and that are still around?
Right. So now we kind of know what we're talking about. Sorry, guys. I don't know DC Comics. Incomplete geek. I'm more of a Marvel person. So these are Wildstorm characters, which is Wildstorm Universe, which is also known as Earth 50, according to DC Fandom Wiki. So it's an alternate reality. They're part of DC's extended multiverse. Was it created after Infinite Crisis? Yes.
I'm the wrong person to ask.
Which I got confused with the Vertigo universe, which is also a separate universe, but is also a separate comic book label, and they're the ones that do Sandman and Doom Patrol, which are Lucifer. All kind of part of it, like can be connected, but they aren't.
Yeah.
So I mean, it'll be like a multiverse thing. So
do you know why? Do you know where I learned that? From Incomplete Geeks show
with Dell.
With Dell, yeah. Oh, they're from the same universe. Oh, okay. I had no idea. So what else do you know about the Authority? Because this group of
that is it, and I learned it in the last 5 minutes from Googling because I got everything wrong.
I mean, the artwork that he shares on this thing I have no idea who any of these people are. They all look like super muscular, and they all can fly apparently. Yeah, and there's a British one as well.
Yeah, I saw that. Captain Britain style.
But she's got like long flowing hair, like lightning bolts coming out of her fingers, and very white trousers. So whatever that means.
High-waisted white trousers by the looks of it.
Yes, you can see it as well.
Wait, where's Watchmen? Is Watchmen DC?
I don't think so, because Watchmen was Alan Moore, which, by the way, coincidentally, is the only comic book that I have read part of. I didn't actually finish it, but I did try. But because I think Alan Moore was completely separate, I think he had his own thing. You know what I mean, right? You're looking it up. Okay.
DC.
Is it actually?
Yes.
Actually, I think you'll find that Alan Moore was a big part of DC.
The graphic novel was passed with a 12-part series by DC Comics.
So they're not the same universe, though. They're not like the DC.
No, sorry, I meant as DC, not as the Authority. It's just the way they look. I'm like older people. I'm like, oh, is this like Watchmen-y? But
the Watchmen are not hopping around in the DC universe with Batman and Superman.
Did you mean Alan Moore or Grant Morrison?
I meant Alan Moore, the guy who wrote and drew a lot of the Watchmen comics.
Sure.
Right?
I don't know, but I know Grant Morrison did a lot of big titles because everyone like dies over them for the work they did on X-Men. But I know they're a big DC writer as well, and I think they wrote some Authority stuff. So they're going to have the Authority's going to have some serious comic book fans. Okay, if it's got big name writers like that attached to it, so the fans will be a super fanin. Which never bodes well for a big budget movie.
Well, this is going to be at least 2025.
Yeah.
And definitely going to be a film as well. So it sounds like if he's only writing the Superman one now, there's still a lot of... I mean, we're getting into the territory where these are just ideas at the moment. So sort of like when Marvel announces its sort of ideas, a lot of the details have to be settled, I guess.
This feels like it'd be a better TV show. It'd be weird to launch a film with characters. I mean, we've just talked about that. Characters that no one knows, but they look kind of like parodies of Justice League again.
Well, I mean, we know already that if you introduce too many characters, it's not a really successful film.
I hate when they do that in films, when they just try and shove too much in. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's different. I know we've got opinions on it, like. Like the Eternal, not the Eternal, but the Eternals was another example. I liked it, but it wasn't very successful. X-Men 3 was another one where it was just too many new. That was
Apocalypse. When they try and just do too many things, it's like just do one thing well. Anyway,
Spider-Man 3, etc. We can go on.
Oh God,
exactly.
So interesting. I don't know.
So we don't know much about that one. That's fine. I'm eager to learn more. That's one of them. I have no idea who any of those characters are. Then, after that, he talked about a TV show called Paradise Lost, which is going to be on Themyscira, the island where Wonder Woman was born, etc. This is the one that he kind of linked to another TV show, kind of like he did with The Lanterns and True Detective. He said this is going to be like Game of Thrones in Westeros, but just in Themyscira. And I was like, you're just trying to say that because...
Which it worked because it got my interest because I'm like, ooh, Game of Thrones with like superhero, all women cast. And that's
Amazonian women, yeah.
Yeah. So at first I'm like, ooh, that sounds interesting. Both of which game HBO shows. That's clever.
Hmm.
Both.
Who's allowed to make that reference then and not get sued?
What's that? I'm just going to move that a bit further away. So I would love to see a good Themyscira show where they can take tons of time, have fuck tons of budget. But there's been a couple of things that he's said, like in follow-up interviews, about it and the referencing of the Game of Thrones stuff. And it was kind of like the games they play and the politics they play and that sort of stuff.
Oh, right. Okay.
For Paradise Island, which is another kind of red flag that he doesn't really understand these characters. He's seen like an island of sexy Amazon women. Right, let's make them fight amongst themselves and backstabbing because it would be good TV.
You're right.
But it is not what they do. That is not the characters. They don't infight. There's none of that. They work. There's none of that. So
it sounds like what he wants is Game of Thrones, series 3 or 4, but he's going to get series 7 and 8 when they try to make Arya and Sansa fight, and it's just weird because they're sisters and they should, whatever.
It's just it's not in keeping with the source material, as far as I'm aware. Based on other people's opinions and my very limited knowledge on it, but it
you know what show you're listening to, right?
Incomplete geeks. I am not a complete geek. It sounds like he's trying to take one thing and turn it into another without any kind of respect for it. But that could just be his idea and how he sold it. If he's not writing or directing it, that may not be at all what it's about. It could just be to get our interest up and talking about it, and whoever's writing and directing it.
That's a good point. That's a good point as well, because he's not going to be doing everything, and he's not only selling this concept and this 8 to 10 year plan to us, he's also selling it to executives. And so he has
people,
and HBO people, TV shows as well.
Adding it to the, that's kind of like Westeros, that sort of stuff.
And they're seeing how the viewers, the consumers, are going to react to this news, and they're going to be like, oh, they really liked this part, but not so much this one. Well, throughout the course of the next 2, 3, 4 years before this actually comes out, if it ever does, they're going to hone it to what people are talking about.
The whole political landscape may change by then. The stuff that they thought, oh, let's do this, and then 2 years later, like, we can't.
There might be another pandemic that screws everything up.
It could be anything, but it could shift. They please, God, have a female showrunner for this goddamn show.
Oh yeah, they have
if you have a man telling them the history of Themyscira, I'm going to vomit. So
for every single day until the show ends.
Every single day, because I'll watch every single episode and throw
that episode's over. Directed by Steven.
Exactly.
This is great audio.
Great clips.
Great clips. Anything else about Paradise? What was it called?
Paradise Lost. It's the one that has my highest hopes because I love Wonder Woman and I love the mythology, because it's a literal mythology. So my highest hopes for what they could do with it, and my biggest worries for what they could do.
How they could fail, yeah. But then again, you've always been a fan of strong female characters, and this is like the epitome of strong female characters, especially within this universe.
Wonder Woman, brilliant. Wonder Woman 1984.
Because she was such a strong female character that just needed her man back. Anyway, next is the first entry featuring another archetype, Batman, called The Brave and the Bold. This is a film, and it's going to feature Damian Wayne, which we've not seen in a long time in any sort of capacity. I don't know a lot about this because I know that Damian Wayne was like the fourth reiteration of Robin, I think.
Yeah, right.
Fourth or fifth. And basically, it's kind of unusual for him to be starting with this version of Robin, but maybe we don't need the first three first.
We don't need to see Dick again.
Dick Grayson, yeah.
I mean, we don't need more Dick. Said no one ever on this podcast.
We always want more Dick. Dick is the one that turns into Nightwing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's my favorite? Who's obviously the best one?
I'd love to have Dick in it.
I want Dick to have his own thing. I want Nightwing. I want that ass, the very famous Nightwing Black to have its own place.
There's a famous dick butt.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we can all
I'm
get on
down.
board with that.
But then, like, I only know about characters like Jason Todd because of the video games, the Arkham series of video games. And
Was he not the third one? Is Damien not the
Am I
fourth
skipping one?
Tim Drake.
Oh yeah, Tim Drake. Yeah.
See, we know what I don't know what I'm talking about. I know DC. Fuck.
Anyway, yeah, Jason Todd, who was the second or third one, and I only know about his character as the Red Hood because of the video games. But I know that Damian Wayne is a fourth one, and nothing else about him, except that he was created.
I don't know anything
by
about
Russell
him.
Gould.
Yeah, because Talia Ghul's his mum, right?
Yeah.
And she's hot. So if we get a good Talia, that'll be fucking cool.
That'd be nice, yeah.
That'd be so fucking cool. But I don't know. I don't know anything. Did he say anything about?
What he said was Damien is kind of a rebel and kind of and Bruce is going to have to sort of keep him in line in a way.
Ugh, a father figure Batman. Ugh.
Who knows how that's going to go?
But is that going to be Pattinson?
Say again?
Is that going to be Robert Pattinson?
I doubt it, because he said in the beginning that Matt Reeves' Batman is extended universe, is extraverse, whatever.
That is so dumb.
That's kind of dumb because he has an opportunity, but maybe we don't know. Maybe Matt Reeves has his own plan if he makes a sequel or whatever.
To cast yet another motherfucking Batman, so we have two running side by side just to do this illegitimate bastard son story.
They do have a Batman already. They've got Ben Affleck.
If they ain't keeping Cavill, they ain't paying to keep Affleck.
Well, then they're not keeping Gal Gadot either.
No, they don't. But they say, they've not ruled anything out, and because she's out of contract, so she doesn't have to do it anyway. So
really?
Just like Cavill was, I guess.
I mean, they're keeping Amanda Waller. They're keeping. That's about it, I think.
That's a lot more recently. It's a lot more recent, and that was anyway. So pass.
We speculate. Don't know. Next is a TV show called Booster Gold. Tell me about Booster Gold, Nicholas. Take it away.
Again, I don't know much. I just know he is a loser from the future who uses futuristic tech to travel back in time to become a superhero in our time with modern technology, and all he cares about is like being famous and going down in history, and he sucks at it. And I love it. I think that's great. I think that's so on brand for James Gunn's writing.
Yeah.
If he's writing it, sure. I think, is it a TV show or a film?
TV show.
I think it'd be great.
Live action.
I have faith in this one because that I can see how that would make sense. It can be connected to the wider thing, but also doesn't have to be. Mm-hmm. And it'll be fun and stupid.
Yeah.
With cool gadgets, but yeah, I'm done. No notes. Fine. Off we go.
Okay, fine. And we get to see what the DC version of time travel is going to look like as well.
I like it. I think it's,
cool.
I think it'd be cute.
The next thing he mentions is a film called Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
Yes.
So, yeah. Do you have initial thoughts?
I have heard things and people's points of view, because again, I don't know Kara very well, outside of the very limited kind of TV and animated movies.
Yep, same.
It's more that it's like a comment he made afterwards. So do you know what it's going to be about?
Well, what I remember him saying in this clip was that he she's going to be completely different than what we've seen her be before, where she's kind of a badass. Basically, she's unlike Superman. What's his name? Kal-El, who's like born has this different upbringing. Kara is like, she's seen everybody die. She's seen everybody sort of, leave her, and she's a bit fucked up, and she's not so, the way that Superman is like the homegrown American hero. Like, she's not quite the homegrown cheerleader type superhuman that everyone wants her to be. She's kind of a, badass, a jerk.
That's the red flag. Because that's not who she is.
Oh, I don't know. I just took his word for it. I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's how she is.
But that's the background, because she, was it Argo?
No, I don't know. I have no idea.
Candor. She didn't live in Candor. She lived in another one, Argo, whatever. So
if you know, write in and tell us what we got wrong.
Candor and Argo are real, but I don't remember if that's where she was and that survived and, the whole sort of thing. So yes, and so she had the traumatic break, blah, blah, blah. But she saw people die and therefore was determined that wouldn't happen again. So she is the cheerleader character and has been for decades.
Oh, okay.
It feels like if you want to tell that story of a fucked up superhero, find someone who that fits. Don't take a established character and change their whole personality.
Okay.
I don't mind. We understand, comic book fans, we understand that you have to change logistics, specifics. Like you can't tell the whole story in a film.
Yeah.
But what you can't change the essence of this character. It's just not that character then.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because
why make it that one just because you want to use Superman's cousin? It's not right. What about Power Girl? Could you not have used Power Girl? I don't know what she does.
I don't know, but I know what you mean.
Power Girl's the one where they kept drawing her boobs bigger and bigger and bigger to see if editorial would notice. And it's like, I'm going to keep making them bigger to prove that the editor wasn't checking his work. And now she's famous for having Kryptonian massive gadongas. Anyway, sorry, it's not. I'm just distracted there.
Distracted by boobs, just like every man.
For our lesbian listeners,
for different reasons.
Boobs. Anyway, sorry.
No, but it's interesting that you say that because I had no idea, and I feel like I had a thought before you distracted me with boobs.
I'm so sorry. Boobs causing problems.
Power Girl, because she's. I know what it was. So basically, you said that characters, people who want to adapt material, they want to change it a little bit, but I totally agree with you how if you change the essence of the character, then it's not right. The things that, for example, just as an example, the things that Christopher Nolan did with Batman, how it's like he's still the essence of Batman, but it's just put in a more modernized world, and he's saying different things with the character of Batman. You're not changing Batman to fit a new story, and so that's why. One of the reasons why those films worked, but if you change it too dramatically, people can be like, "What the fuck is this? This is completely different. I have no idea." It also makes me think of, I don't know if you watched the Cloak and Dagger TV show.
A little bit.
I didn't finish it, but it was just because I didn't get around to it. But like because that comic came out, it was very popular in the 80s when drugs were a big thing.
Heroin,
and usually
drugs,
it was Cloak who was the one who was into drugs, and Tandy got him out of it. Basically, they swapped those things, and she was like the drug addict and he was like the good school going person. That worked.
Going person.
Well, the good student. That's the word. The good student with good hopes.
Those ones that go to school.
So so that kind of thing where they take the characters and they change it slightly enough, but still maintain the theme of the story. But if they do it too much, it'll lose fans as well. I'm sure people will think of examples.
We'll see. She could go through a dark place, and she finishes as this realization that I saw people die. I'm not going to. I'm going to do everything I can. So maybe that's her journey to get to the character we know. They could do that. If they're smart, they'll do that.
And there's a lot of time to think about this. If this is his 10-year plan, Yeah. So moving on, the last thing he talked about was a film called Swamp Thing. I have this many comments about Swamp Thing.
88? Oh, no.
00. I have a binoculars. No idea.
Swamp Thing.
I just feel like characters like Swamp Thing, like Solomon Grundy, like even Clayface to an extent, they're just all sort of reiterations of Hulk. And I'm bored of that archetype. I'm bored of the super strong person.
I super disagree, but okay.
What?
I don't think they're iterations on the Hulk.
Well, Solomon Grundy is because he literally cannot die. That's his whole thing.
Solomon Grundy, that's a really dark aspect. That's really fascinating. I really like that.
Yeah, that's fine. It is a fascinating thing how he's sort of he's.
I suppose the Hulk was kind of dark as well, wasn't it? Because he couldn't control the rage within.
But that kind of thing about your whole superpower is that you're super strong and you've got something. I don't know. I'm just not excited
Swamp
about it.
Thing is like a man made of plants. It's a bonkers. Again, I don't know how I'm going to give a shit about a guy made out of plants.
I don't know either. I don't know.
And I don't trust DC to deliver that. I feel like it would work like as the Werewolf at Night kind of thing that Marvel did, which I still haven't watched, and I feel guilty about that. Like a old school noir kind of, this is a weird, shit horror movie kind of character. And I was like, okay, that works, but I don't know how you're gonna make it cool.
I don't know how
people
you're gonna make it cool.
Be Swamp Thing for Halloween. I don't know.
It seems like a lot of hair and makeup to go through.
Yeah, I mean,
and I feel like if you're going to make a character about Swamp Thing, you're going to have to either tone it down a lot or fucking make it CGI, 100% CGI. Animated.
It'll all be CGI.
Which we know it has its own sort of hiccups because we've all seen She-Hulk. It's not always perfect.
But they'll, it's a film, so they won't have the time.
Okay, fine. Yeah, it's a film.
She-Hulk did. I don't know. I won't say too much about it because I don't know anything about Swamp Thing. It's a thing from the swamps. I've seen him in a couple of references on some shows, but
I've seen him even in fewer references. I have no idea. No idea.
I'm not sure how they're gonna make me give a shit about that.
Any final thoughts?
There's a couple of things at the bottom of this list from IGN. I don't know if it's him that's mentioned it or anything like other shows.
Well, you mentioned the Joker sequel, which he does not mention. But,
Joker Folie à Deux.
Sorry, say again?
Joker Folie à Deux.
Yes, Folie à Deux, because they're going to bring in Harley Quinn, basically. Do you know the phrase Folie à Deux? It's French. It means like a madness of two people. And it's a psychological thing where two people are sort of, they like an echo chamber, they kind of reinforce each other's psychoses. And that's how they're going to bring Harley. All I know about it is they're going to have Harley Quinn in it somehow.
Which they're going to recast because it won't be Margot, will it?
Probably not. Or no, I don't think so.
No.
It's just the Joaquin Phoenix sequel, basically.
I don't trust them to do a good job with Harley.
Or maybe they'll make it different. Like the whole Joker film with Joaquin Phoenix was a success because one of the reasons
it catered to incels. That's why.
Did it?
I don't know. I never saw it. I just assumed it was for incels.
It was probably there probably was a little bit of that, but I kind of feel like it was.
Oh, I'm an angry, misunderstood, ugly asshole, and I'm going to take my anger out on the rest of the world. Kind of like that. Something like that?
I think it painted that picture very well of the kind of person who, in the universe of this film, would follow the Joker very easily. Like the incels are his sort of minions. I don't think it really glorified them so much, but what I was going to say is part of its success comes from its realism. It was sort of set in a world where like this could actually happen, and
that's so boring. That is so fucking boring. I don't give a shit about that. I don't want realism in my superhero films.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I don't want an average guy following him around. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, but you want realism in terms of like you want it to be believable.
Not really. No. I want fantastical stuff. I don't want some asshole psychopath. Anyway, if you enjoyed the Joker, fantastic. Cool. So let's move on. So there's a couple of extra projects which are all like TV shows.
He got an Oscar for it as well.
That aren't mentioned, and I don't give a flying fuck about any of them because I think they're mostly Batman related.
Great thing to end on then. Let's go.
So let's finish on those. Well, I've got Gotham PD / Arkham TV show. Really?
Is this the one that's... Oh, no, never mind.
I don't know.
No, I don't know. Yeah. No idea.
Matt Reeves' Penguin Project.
Film or TV show?
TV show, it says.
So if it's Matt Reeves, is it going to be Colin Farrell as Penguin TV show?
Did you watch it? Did you watch The Batman?
I have.
Spoiler alert.
It was fine.
Does he die? The Penguin?
No. He's not even he's not even really like a villain. He's just sort of a con man kind of, not a con man, like a mob boss kind of.
Well, then I assume it would be Colin Farrell because it'd be stupid to change it if it's a Matt Reeves world. Gotham Knights. That's all I got.
There's a video game of Gotham Knights as well. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
The big
I'm
video
pretty sure
game.
that's the point, right? Dead Boy Detectives, The Sandman Season 2, and Constantine 2.
Constantine 2.
It says Constantine 2, and I'm trying to think, when was Constantine 1 out? I remember the TV
A while ago.
show. It doesn't mean the Keanu Reeves film, does it? That's a different Constantine.
I think so, yeah.
Or is it the same one? Oh, God,
there's a Constantine film from bajillion years ago, and
the Keanu Reeves one,
the Keanu Reeves one, and there was a TV show, I think, and then of course the character of Constantine comes up in The Sandman as well.
John Constantine. Oh my God, it was him. The Keanu Reeves one was the same. Is that the same fucking thing?
It's the same character, yeah.
Oh my God.
Did you not know that? It was like...
I mean, it just didn't really connect. It was so long ago.
Yeah, like the demon hunter fighter thing, yeah. What about the
TV show? So is it Keanu Reeves? Yeah.
What, Constantine 2?
Uh-huh.
Okay, fine, yeah. It does ring a bell that they would have brought him back. But does it say Sandman 2 or does it say Sandman Season 2?
Season 2.
Okay, well then Constantine 2 is Keanu Reeves, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
There we go.
There you go. A lot of things to look forward to, a lot of things for us to sort of nerd out about.
To worry about and
nerd over and say, well, this wasn't right. We can comment on it. If it's got a big enough splash, we'll talk about it on this show. And if you have any comments to add to this discussion, please get in touch. We'd love to hear from our friends.
Your family.
And my family.
Hey,
if there's anything that you think we missed that is worth mentioning, please let us know.
If there's anything we missed. It's going to be a lot of messages.
Yeah, if there's anything that we missed that you think needs mentioning, get in touch. We have an email address, incompletegeeks@podcast. No, hang on. It's been a while since I've done this. The email address is incompletegeekspodcast@gmail.com. We also are on our TikTok every day and our Instagram every day. We are posting new stuff as often as we can. So give us a follow on both of those. If you like.
Incomplete Geeks.
At Incomplete Geeks, yeah, on TikTok and Instagram. And give us a follow. Give us a follow on this podcast as well. Give us a like. Share it with your friends. Subscribe. It does help out the podcast. We do enjoy doing this, but we need your help to spread the word. Yeah, because as you know, as you probably are made clear from this whole episode, we do get things wrong. We miss things. We have to look things up, and we're still learning because at its core, we are not complete geeks.
But we are working on it.
We are indeed. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, that episode's over. This is great audio.